all the news from WTCN TV's expanded news gathering facility.
WTCN TV, Channel 11.
This is kare-11 News at 10.
This is kare-11 News at 10.
And it disturbed me how that could get out, how much other information is on their computers.
What people can learn about you by digging into your old computer is tonight's top story. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Americans will discard some 200 million computers in the next few years.
The odds are pretty high your own PC will one day wind up in the hands of strangers. If your personal information ends up in the wrong hands, you could end up with thousands of dollars in bills, ruined credit, or even a criminal record. It's called identity theft, and it's increased 20-fold in the past decade. In tonight's Extra, you'd be amazed what kind of personal trail you leave on the computer, even if you think you've erased everything. kare-11's John Croman puts the delete key to the test, and the results are surprising.
Within the Stillwater prison, you'll find the sanitizing room, the first stop for thousands of computers donated to schools.
And everyone's concerned about the same thing. They're concerned that the data that they may or may not have left on their computer is going to be protected.
So staff members pull the computer's disk drive where the data is stored, and using special software, they electronically scrub away all traces of the previous owner.
This writes over it 7 times.
Why go to such extremes? Because deep down inside, computers never forget a thing. It used to be pretty easy to destroy an old document. But computers aren't that simple. Sure, you can delete your unwanted files with just a keystroke, and you can watch them disappear, but the data is really still there on your computer. It's like removing the names from all these files. The labels are all gone, but the information is still all here. I just don't know exactly where to find it. To prove the point, we needed some techno-trash, the kind of stuff people bring to the Hennepin County Recycling Center, relics like this old Hyundai 16X.
But he moved out and left it and said you can throw it out?
One of John Roof's former tenants left it behind, but he agreed to let us borrow it for our experiment. We also hit second-hand shops. At one in St. Paul, we scored a Compact Desk Pro and a Compact Pro Linea. We rolled out of a thrift store in Lauderdale with 2 more gems, something called an Everex and a 1980s portable. We wrapped up the spree in Minneapolis with an old Express brand computer we picked up for just $2. We hauled all 6 of them to On Track Data International in Eden Prairie.
Told me they bought this a long time ago.
Chuck Christopherson cracked open the old boxes one by one and snagged their hard drives. That was the easy part. The next step, what On Track's known for around the world, was to tap into those drives and retrieve the data.
Whatever original files were on here from the user are probably still on here.
Still there in a big way. Thousands of files, some pretty sensitive. Remember that old Hyundai? It still has the original owner's 1991 tax return on it, complete with his social security number. And buried inside that little portable, a resume, performance review, a business plan for a new eyewear shop, and some very personal letters.
I'm also on the side of the bank that is run by an egomaniac.
She also dished her hubby's fudge recipe.
My sides are still aching from laughing. You've never seen such a dried out piece of nothing in all your life.
But the biggest shock of all, 2 of our secondhand computers once belonged to the City of Minneapolis Utility Billing Office.
In this sample of computers, there was no effort made to delete the data. The data, just by turning on the computer, the data was available.
That includes official billing forms, employee timesheets, and scores of emails and memos.
There's a problem with staff coming to training late.
1 more day left until TGIF Friday.
OT must be authorized in advance.
I went to lunch already. Did not want to come back to work.
Mixed with that, party invitations, various Disney characters, inspirational animation, and a record of every website this worker visited. LowestFare.com, Apartment Find, Publishers Clearinghouse, etc., etc.
There are many traces that are left on your computer. Every time you edit a file, every time you surf a web page, these traces remain on your computer.
And here's the clincher. A database with names, addresses, and account numbers of 340 different water customers, including Brian Wabaking.
If this information's out there, who's to say that there isn't more information on another database, on another computer, another file somewhere else?
They didn't even erase the hard drive then.
Right. Ted Collerstrom's account number also showed up on one of those stray city files.
Well, I think somebody down there has to be spanked.
The city concedes their computers left the public service center downtown without having their hard drives erased, in violation of city policy.
I think a mistake was made.
Carl Kaiser became the city's chief of technology last year after the computers in question were donated.
Not knowing the exact circumstance, I can just suppose that they disconnected those machines and they stood around. And by the time they were really picked up to be disposed, nobody thought of it.
The safest approach is what they do in Stillwater, permanently scrub the hard drives. That's why OnTrack and other companies sell disk erasing software that you can use at home.
Clean up after yourself. Computers are very good at storing data, so you have to take an extra step to really get rid of the data.
Otherwise, it may come back to haunt you.
My boss is a drunk, and the daily moods are enough to send you to the moon. Oh!
Now, we asked the city how many of its old computers are out there with data still on them. They don't know, but assure us that they've got much tighter controls now. If you'd like more information on how to get data erasing software or how to give your old PC to the schools, go to kare11.com for links. Rick and Di?
All right.